8 signs your body is dehydrated, a special warning for seniors. Dear friend, have you ever woken up in the morning with a dry mouth and a foggy mind as if you had just experienced a sleepwalking episode? Or maybe you were sitting watching TV, not going anywhere, not doing much, but still feeling exhausted, not knowing why. I believe it is not just once, but it may be something we feel every day without even noticing. And today, I want to sit down here, like two old friends, to talk with you about something that sounds simple, but turns out to be extremely important: dehydration in the elderly. Hearing the two words dehydration, many people often shake their heads and say, "I'm not thirsty," or "I still drink water every day." But the truth is, as we age, our bodies no longer give us clear warnings like before. Thirst fades, kidney function changes, water retention decreases, and from there signs of dehydration begin to creep into every corner of our health, from our memory, to our heart, to our skin and spirit. But many of us don't realize it. So in today's video, I invite you to sit down, take a deep breath, and together we will delve into 8 silent but dangerous signs of dehydration in the elderly. Each sign is a warning bell, and the more we understand, the more we have the opportunity to proactively maintain our health, to live happily and healthily for many more years. Now, let's go with me to the first sign. You may be experiencing it without even realizing it. Do you find yourself feeling dizzy or lightheaded every time you stand up from a chair? Even when standing up slowly, do you still feel lightheaded, as if you have just experienced a strong wind in your head? That seemingly normal sign is actually a clear sign of dehydration. When we are dehydrated, our blood becomes thicker and flows more slowly, and when we change position, especially from sitting to standing, our blood pressure drops suddenly. This prevents the brain from getting enough blood right away, leading to dizziness and lightheadedness. Medically, this phenomenon is called postural hypotension, and it is more common in older people than in any other age group. I have a friend named Jim who lives in Southern California. He is 72 years old, in good health, and walks every day. But for a while, Jim complained that every time he stood up after dinner, he felt dizzy, thinking he had a heart problem. After going to the doctor, he found nothing serious. He just advised Jim to drink more water. And you know what? After just 1 week of increasing his water intake, the phenomenon disappeared completely. The story seems simple, but for the elderly like us, just a slight dizziness is enough to make us stumble, dislocate, or worse, have to be hospitalized. Therefore, if you find yourself often dizzy when changing positions, don't think it's a small matter. Try to review your daily water intake. Don't wait until you're thirsty to drink, because when we're thirsty, our bodies are already dehydrated. Next, let's talk about an often overlooked sign, but it's an urgent reminder from the body, which is a feeling of prolonged fatigue for no apparent reason. Have you ever had a day where, despite getting enough sleep, not doing anything heavy, not stressed, you still feel drained of energy? It's as if the battery in your body is weak, but it can't be fully charged. Dehydration is one of the leading causes of that, especially for the elderly. When there is a lack of water, the metabolic function in the cells is significantly reduced. Muscles do not contract effectively, the heart has to work harder to pump blood, and from there, a feeling of fatigue is born. Not to mention, water is also necessary for regulating body temperature. Without it, you are prone to heat, irritability, and lethargy. A study at the University of Connecticut has shown that, just a 1.5% reduction in water in the body, we can feel less focused, lack of energy, and unexplained fatigue. They tested this on both young and old people, and the results showed that the elderly were affected much more clearly. An old lady I know in Oregon has a habit of drinking tea in the early morning and late afternoon, but does not drink water regularly. She often complains of fatigue even though she has no special illness. When her daughter reminded her to drink water more regularly, her mental and physical health improved significantly. She was more alert and much less tired. So if you find yourself feeling tired and unmotivated, don't just chalk it up to old age. Check to see if you're drinking enough water. Even small changes can make a big difference. And now, let's talk about the next sign. You may find it very familiar. Prolonged constipation or poor digestion. Perhaps none of us are unfamiliar with digestive disorders. But if you eat normally, add vegetables, drink yogurt every day but still often have bloating, flatulence, difficulty defecating, then pay attention to the amount of water in your body. Water plays an important role in helping the digestive system work smoothly. It helps soften stools, lubricate the intestines, support intestinal peristalsis to push waste out more easily. Lack of water, the intestines will withdraw water from the stool to retain for the body, and as a result, the stool becomes dry and hard, causing constipation. A study published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology shows that elderly people who drink little water are 2.5 times more likely to suffer from chronic constipation than those who drink enough water every day. And do you know what's more dangerous? Chronic constipation is not only uncomfortable, but can also lead to hemorrhoids, anal fissures, and even form a habit of using laxatives for a long time, which is not good for the elderly because it can easily cause electrolyte imbalance. So, if you find yourself having digestive problems and can't figure out the cause, try looking at the glass of water you drink every day. Maybe, just adding a few more glasses of water is enough to get your digestive system running smoothly again. We have just looked at the first 3 signs of dehydration, and you see, none of them are strange, but all of them silently affect your daily health. And if left for a long time, they will not only make us uncomfortable, but also lead to a series of serious consequences. So, in the next part, I want to continue to explore the remaining important signs, some of which you will be surprised because you never thought they were related to water. But it turns out, our bodies always know how to speak up, if only we pay enough attention. Dizziness, fatigue, and digestion, the first 3 signs that the body silently sends when it is dehydrated. And I believe, maybe you are sitting there, nodding gently, thinking, oh yeah, that's true, I often have that problem. But you know, the story of dehydration is still long. It doesn't stop at feeling tired or having an upset stomach. It also infiltrates the smallest things we see every day, like our skin, our breath, or even our mood. Now, I invite you to continue walking with me, like 2 old friends taking an afternoon walk, talking gently but deeply. And the next sign that we will look straight at is the change in skin and skin elasticity. I still remember very clearly, one time, I was waiting in a clinic with an old lady in her 80s. She sat next to me, her hand shaking as she flipped through the magazine, but the skin on the back of her hand caught my attention. It was paper-thin, wrinkled, and when the doctor touched it lightly to measure its elasticity, the skin remained in the lifted position for a long time before slowly returning. Dear friend, our skin is one of the places that shows dehydration most clearly, and it is also the most overlooked. Because we often think that dry skin is due to the weather, soap, or aging. But in fact, lack of water is one of the first causes of dry, flaky, and less elastic skin. The skin of the elderly is already thinner over time, and its natural ability to retain moisture is significantly reduced compared to when young. When dehydrated, the skin does not have enough water to maintain the collagen structure, and so wrinkles appear thicker, the skin becomes rough, and lacks vitality. Especially on the arms, legs, and backs of the hands, where the skin is thin and the changes are easily noticeable. There's a simple test my Florida doctor shared with me called the skin bounce test. You just gently pinch the skin on the back of your hand, then release. If it bounces back immediately, you're hydrated. But if it takes a while to bounce back, you may be dehydrated. And it's not just about the outside. When skin is dry, prone to scratching, and itchy, we're at a higher risk of infection, especially if we have underlying conditions like diabetes, psoriasis, or eczema. So, if you notice your skin getting drier, even though you've used all kinds of moisturizers, check to see if your body is thirsty from the inside. And if the skin is the place that shows the dryness on the outside, then the breath is the whisper from the inside. I don't know about you, but many of my friends over 60 often complain, why is my mouth always dry these days? It's harder to talk. My mouth smells bad when I wake up in the morning. It's uncomfortable. That's when I immediately think of dehydration and dry mouth. You see, when you lack water, your salivary glands slow down. Saliva is more important than we think. It not only helps us chew and swallow easily, but also helps wash away bacteria, maintaining a balanced pH in the mouth. Without saliva, bacteria thrive, plaque accumulates, and from there, bad breath appears. Many people confuse bad breath with digestive or dental problems. But many studies show that dehydration is the leading cause of bad breath, especially in the morning after waking up. That's because our bodies don't replenish water during the night, and if we're already dehydrated, the condition gets worse. A dentist in Texas once shared that there are patients who come in complaining of bad breath despite brushing their teeth very carefully, and he only asks one question: how many glasses of water have you had today? The answer is usually, probably not even 2 glasses. You see, sometimes just drinking a few more glasses of water each day, no soda, no bubble tea, just pure filtered water, is enough to improve the smell of breath, the moisture of the mouth, and the comfort when communicating with others. And now, are you ready to step into a little expected, but extremely important sign? That is, your mood and memory are affected. I know many people, maybe you reading this, have sighed and said, I'm more irritable, more forgetful, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, and of course, we often think it's because of age. But did you know that our brains, no matter how old we are, still need water to function properly? In fact, the brain is more than 70% water. When dehydrated, the areas of the brain related to emotions, memory, and concentration will be affected first. Studies by the University of California, Davis have found that dehydration of just 2% of body weight can also reduce short-term memory and cause mood swings. You may feel irritable and angry over small things. You may forget where you put your glasses, forget what you just said. And if that condition persists, you will gradually think that you have memory aging, without realizing that part of the cause lies in drinking too little water. I know an old lady named Mary who lives in Arizona. She used to be very active, but after a while she became more quiet, and sometimes forgot her grandchild's name. Her daughter took her to the doctor, did all the tests, and found no illness. In the end, it was just mild dehydration because she was afraid of going to the bathroom so much, so she cut down on her water. When her water regimen was adjusted, after only 2 weeks, Mary was much more cheerful, talking and laughing, remembering everything, and especially, returning to her favorite crossword puzzle. I tell that story so that we can understand that it is never too late to improve our memory and mood if we know how to take care of our bodies from the smallest things. Dear friend, we have gone through more signs of dehydration, from the skin, breathing, to the spirit and memory. Do you recognize anything? Each sign has its own story, but they are all connected by a common root. Our bodies need water, not just to live, but to live well, to live fully. And even though we are no longer young, every glass of water we drink today is the way we give ourselves a gift, the gift of clarity, comfort, and joy. But there are still a few more important signs that, if we ignore them, can lead to serious consequences, especially for older people like us. That is what I want to explore with you in the final part, where we will close this journey with a deep understanding, and hope that you will leave this video with a light heart and a glass of water in your hand. Do you remember the feeling of holding a glass of cool water, bringing it to your lips on a sunny afternoon? The feeling of water flowing down your throat, cooling every cell. For many people, it is simply thirst quenching. But for us, those who have gone through a long journey of life, it is also a way to keep ourselves healthy, alert, and meaningful. Without further ado, let's move on to the last 2 signs, which, if we don't pay attention, can cause our bodies to go downhill faster than we think. Let's start with a sign that many seniors secretly endure: dark urine and less urination. You may not pay much attention, because everyone is busy with hundreds of things every day, whether retired or still taking care of grandchildren, gardening, walking. But urine is a great indicator to measure the body's level of dehydration. I remember once attending a senior health conference in Seattle. A kidney specialist stood up and shared, if you don't look at your urine every day, you're missing out on the opportunity to listen to your body. So, what is normal urine? When the body is well hydrated, urine is usually pale yellow, almost clear, and odorless. But when you start to see your urine turn dark yellow, amber, or even dark orange, it's because your body is trying to retain water, because there's not enough left to excrete. And if you urinate less than usual, for example, not feeling the urge to urinate all morning, or only 1 to 2 times a day even though you don't have a urinary tract infection, That's also a very clear sign of dehydration. For older people, this is especially dangerous because the ability to sense thirst gradually decreases over time. That is, you don't feel thirsty, but your body is already dehydrated. A 78-year-old man in California was hospitalized for mild kidney failure, and the cause was determined to be drinking too little water because he was afraid of having to go to the bathroom at night. That's understandable. Everyone is afraid of tripping while walking at night, especially when the bathroom is far away. But did you know, every time we hold back water, our bodies not only retain water, but also retain toxins? I used to tell my friends, if we could remember to drink water like we remember to wear glasses, life would be much easier. And finally, let me introduce you to a sign that is both strange and familiar, but makes me very worried every time I think about it. The feeling of frequent cramps, especially at night. Have you ever been sleeping soundly, then suddenly startled by a painful calf cramp? I have, and many friends my age have too. Cramps are not only caused by exercise or lack of calcium, but lack of water and electrolyte imbalance is a very common cause. When we are dehydrated, the body cannot maintain the balance between minerals such as sodium, potassium, magnesium. These minerals control the activity of the muscles, and when they are disturbed, the body will react with sudden spasms. A Harvard University study once showed that 70% of people aged 65 and over have cramps at least once a week, and of those, more than half do not drink enough water every day. Some people are afraid to drink water because they are afraid of urinating a lot, afraid of getting tired when standing up and walking, but then the pain at night makes sleep incomplete, making the next day tired, dizzy, and prone to falling. So how to improve this? In addition to drinking enough water, you can supplement with light electrolyte water or simply eat more fruits containing water and minerals such as watermelon, oranges, cucumbers. You can also put a small water bottle right by your bedside, so if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can take a sip, enough for your body to feel the support. Dear friend, so we have come a long way together, 8 signs that are not noisy, not ostentatious, but say a lot about dehydration in the elderly. From dizziness, unexplained fatigue, persistent constipation, poor digestion to dry skin, bad breath, affected memory, changes in urine, sudden cramps, each sign is a piece of the puzzle that helps us listen to ourselves. I know, at this age, we are no longer racing against time, no longer having to carry everything like in our 20s. But that is why we deserve to live healthy, live enough and live happily, without having to endure seemingly small things. And do you know what the most wonderful thing is? It all starts with a very simple action, drinking water. No need for expensive water. Just clean water, enough, regularly every day. A glass of water in the morning. A sip of water before meals. A water bottle placed near your eyes to remind you. If you are caring for an elderly relative, let the glass of water become a silent love every day. And if you are living alone, consider taking care of yourself with water as a gentle act, like hugging yourself. Before we say goodbye, I have a small wish. If you find what I shared today useful, or remind you of someone, leave a few lines in the comment section. Share a story, or simply say hello, so I know you have come this far with me. And if you have not yet clicked the like or subscribe button, I really hope you do. Not for me, but so you do not miss other videos, stories dedicated to the elderly, told by people of the same age. We are not alone. We are growing old together, but we can still live happily, live healthily, and live meaningfully. Thank you for listening. Wishing you a day full of smiles, a good night's sleep, and a nice glass of water right after this video. Goodbye and see you in the next video.